Okay, let's talk about a couple things here first. The big thing in a golf swing is two things are trying to happen when a golfer's hitting the ball. They're trying to get energy from somewhere to create power, make hit the ball further, or control the distance, or we have angles or what the geometry of the swing, the angles. And we got to figure out what are you missing? Is it a power thing or or is it an angle thing here? So your swing is definitely 100%. It's about how you're trying to create power, and the weaker you hit it, your instinctive way of getting power becomes the problem, and then you're chasing the symptoms of all that. So we go back over here to the left side here, and we're going to just kind of go right to an impact, and at the end, you have no leverage to this ground, and the only thing left you got to deliver the club to the ball is your hands, and you're just rolling them over, and you're just big enough and strong enough to get some sense of power. But because of all that, you just can't really apply any leverage to the golf ball. So there'd be a point where you could take a shorter club and maybe press down and get a little leverage to it, but then you can't get any power. So there's two ways we approach swings. We approach them from linear, which is going in steps, and we approach it backwards, which is I work in, hey, this part is how to make better contact or leverage to a golf ball. Then how do we build a backswing to get to that leverage point? So 90% of the players who played before video learned to hit a solid shot first and then found a backswing to apply leverage to that thing. And that's why you saw unique backswings before the sense of video cameras. Now, so in the swing here, the first thing is when I'm watching is how you're getting power. So that first move is you'll watch your knees right here below, and this is a good way to see it. You'll see the club go behind the line, and you know that that's nothing new for you. You're trying to stop that from happening, but you know that part of it is. But if you watch your knees right here, they are moving like crazy, and that's telling me that the move, your knees aren't at fault, but your knees are a symptom of you trying to get some motion or rotation. So your rotation points are this hip and this shoulder, and that's the first thing you turn. And your knees do this thing. And the main thing we worked on is to not restrict that at the start to create some stability to the ground. Because once you make this first move, you have no leverage to this ground. Your reference points are out here, and you can't get leverage. So then eventually you're just going to keep turning because you're pretty flexible and you kind of keep turning. So you have a lot of rotation. Now, if someone saw you swing right there, they go, hey, that looks pretty good. You got a pivot. It kind of looks like you're loaded. But in reality that you're not, because all the forces are up here high and they're not low. And so the part of it, even though it might look pretty good here on this front view, but now you can't get the energy to the ball. So the only thing you can do at this point is, because of where your stress points are, you've got to turn this first. So this shoulder just opens. Now, even though you're trying to drop those hands down to stop the opening, the reason is you could drop your hands, but still we didn't have any power because you have nothing going on down here in this part of your swing. So all you can do is just kind of spin the shoulders and flip the hands. So that becomes our timing thing that you're trying to time. And it just, sometimes it will line up, but even that, you are still never going to get true leverage to that golf club. So everything we did is to learn to get better forces to the ball. And so we're going to go through these videos and these drills just to help you kind of get a better plan. Because you know you're out there working, might as well keep working to make solid contact with the ball. Some things are going to be easier. The easy thing is for you to feel that restriction feeling at the start. How to go through the ball, that's going to be a little bit of a work to get your confidence. So let's go back over here to this front side. And let's look at our first drill. Now, so we'll go over this first drill. We're going to work backwards here. So we're going to go to understanding contact and leverage for you. Okay, so we're going to do the drill where I have my arm crossed here. And this is probably the most important drill for you to feeling of where your power is that you do not have. Once you have a seek of where that true power is, where that get leverage to the ball, then we got that backswing will be easier to make because you start associating that. So in this drill, this is obviously Roy and me on the right. Don't get confused, but here's the thing there as we go through the ball. We're going to look pretty similar here. You'll see that how we're both moving from the ground as a force, meaning we're both pushing off the ground and using our leverage feeling here and nothing up here. Upstairs, quiet. As our hands are quiet, because the shoulders are not have any force, so they just kind of naturally drop. So that's how we get them to go down and a force. Now from here, I feel powerful that I'm using the ground as a force, and I'm going to apply leverage to that bag. And for you, you need to feel you're feeling leverage with, you're hitting the bag with this feeling and not the wrist feeling. You got to apply leverage there in your mind because you have a flip at the bottom with your hands. So you can see that wouldn't be applying leverage. And this is giving you this feeling to the bag. So you see how we're getting there with that same applying to get power, and we're applying leverage, and that's how you have to see it. Not speed, but leverage. And use your strength. The strongest part of your body you are not using. You're using just your hands and not leverage. You also see in the where you have a lot of movement in the hips and shoulders in the first part, but through impact you have nothing going on in your legs at all. Because you throw yourself out of balance in the hip and the big shoulder turn away, then you have no legs or forces from the ground. It's all hands. And we're the opposite. You'll see here, maybe Roy at the start. Yeah. So if you see him from the start, you'll see not a lot going over there. See how he's restricting. There's not a lot of, his hips and knees are facing the ball much. There's not a lot going on. He's actually building this spring effect. Okay, so from there, and now we can now have all this energy from the ground like a spring, putting energy into the ball and leveraging. Again, you're going to feel like you're hitting with a forearm feeling and not a wrist feeling. Hands should feel very quiet in the swing. You see Roy's hands are quiet. They're not trying to do anything but to apply leverage. Now getting back to your back, let's bring out our new, well, let's do this. Oops, that's not you. So here's you doing that same drill, and you can see in the backswing as you go back, see how you're staying right on top of it. Those knees, you can see how you're staying right here, and you should feel a lot of force here and a lot of resistance here and core feeling here. And that right arm is boom, and that's your power. See how your legs are engaged in creating power, then that. And that's what we did there at the end, hitting those little wedge shots, just feeling that feeling, or nine, whatever small club we're doing at the end, you did really well. That's a hit. So that's our force of our swing. That's the part you have to keep working on, that feeling. So you can go ahead and whack. You said you had an impact bag, and just go ahead and hit that feeling. At impact, this is important for this, so you don't stress your hand. If you feel any stress here, this should be just kind of relaxed. You're feeling powerful, but not trying to hit with your hand. Also here, you can see here that now you can, from this point of view, you got that club right in front of you. And always make sure you put the hand on top of that arm, pin that elbow in here. See, that's your way to the ball. That's just, you have no power but that, and here's a different way to get power. And this is where you're going to feel right there. That's a power feeling. So that's a good way to, and always feel all this energy low. All this power is down in here. And nothing up here. And we're going to get into these shoulders in a second. That's the slingshot part of the swing. This is the force part. Good. And now let's see what we got on this video. Now, this was a much better backswing. You see a lot more restriction this time. Now you can see in the background, you can see if we use the, whatever that case is behind it, you can see how you're starting to push from the legs. We're getting a lateral push. Your hands have room to drop down better. But now you can go in and again, a little bit of the old, but not the kind of the windshield wiper feel. You can see it's already getting better. It will keep getting better, but you just have to just feel that spring feeling right there. So at the top of your swing, you're going to feel a lot of resistance somewhere in here. I would probably think for you, feet, top of the thighs, and maybe the core muscles. You definitely don't want to feel it in the hips, or this hip especially, or that shoulder. You feel it there, we're doing the old one and applying leverage. And the last thing here as you're doing these little shots, so as we go back, this is Ludwig. You can see again on his backswing. See how as he goes back here, the bag also is a point of reference in the sense I want you to feel like you're applying leverage to the bag. But right here, we become a slingshot. So eventually this is like throwing a ball. There's a force of energy about right there. Kinetically, we're trying to get all that energy into that golf club. So you see Ludwig release it. Force, let it go. Here, feel like you're hitting the bag, and right there, just releasing all the energy into the club. This is not releasing it. This is just releasing the face so it doesn't go crooked. So you'll get the feeling that now you're in this leverage position, and now you can let that club release. Let's see if I have another one. Here's our little training aid. It's important for you to feel that you don't flip it, or the same feeling, and feel like it unhinges correctly. And this wrist should stay in extension. So when you do this, you should make sure this hand stays in this extension or bent in. Don't flip it over and let it extend out. And it should go outward right there. So that's a good feel for you going that way. In the last video, I want you to show So the last thing here with Jon Rahm, we're going to look at kind of the same thing here. Watch as he goes back. See how the resistance he's creating. Stretching. So think of it as he is stretching more than turning. And you're turning more than stretching. Now from here, right about here, he's already before he gets to his full stretch, so that stretch is here, he's going to move and pretend he's hitting the bag, that same drill we did over here where he's hitting the bag. There's the same force, there's the hit, there's the force. You see how this backhand will be an extension of this. Again, is a symptom if we apply leverage. You can't just hold that angle. That angle is just you trying to save the club. But here's a slingshot. Watch as soon as he hits, he's going to hit, and this slingshot is releasing the energy. There's a force, and let it go like you're throwing a ball. So you've got to get this hit first, but right here, I don't want you to hit and hold. I want you to hit and let it fly. Hit and let it go.